welcome to your messages through tarot for the month of August 2025. If you haven't already seen your messages for the month of July and you want to have a little bit of, retrospection, looking at them in hindsight, which I think is always fun, the link is in the description. And I'll put the video in the end screen for you. Another video I did recently, which you may be interested in as we are now in Leo season, was with the lovely Liz Nagle and Amy Bird. Amy is the astrologer, Liz is the mystic, and I am the tarot card reader. And we've had quite a few chats now. They're all on my channel under interviews and chats. And we were looking at the Leo new moon last week, but also Amy covered a lot of the current transits, the astrological transits, which are affecting, enhancing, creating, I don't know the right word, our reality at the moment. So take a look. Oh, that one wanted to come out, didn't it? Take a look at those. I'll put the link in the description and the video in the end screen for you. So August 2025. What's happening? Let's have a look. Right, I've got 3 cards. They're face down. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. Let's dive straight in. Okay, so this is a beautiful card. This is the 7 of Cups. Cups, as we know, is the love sign. We know it's the water sign. It's the emotions. It's our spirituality. It's our intuition. It's our creativity. All of those things rolled into Cups. And this card typically comes with a message of choose wisely. It's showing us that we have so many choices every day. Sometimes we think we don't have choices. The number of people that I heard who perhaps have compromised their own health because they thought they had no choices. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of people who financially will say, oh, I can't do what I want in life because I have no choice, because I have a mortgage to pay or a family to, all of this stuff. You know, we often say, I have no choice. But we always have a choice. Even in physical situations where we feel that where we've got ourselves trapped, we still have a choice as to how we perceive our situation. So if you are in one of those situations where you felt like you had no choice, or you feel like you don't have a choice to improve your life or to do what it is that you want in life, you can choose to think about it in a different way. You can choose a different perspective on the situation. And I think this is a really important point, that understanding that we're not just talking about big choices here. I want to say little choices, because it's the little choices that actually often make the pathway to the more divine, larger choices that we need to make. So one of the choices I want to say that we can make in life is to be willing. Choose to be willing to change the way you think. Choose to be willing to admit mistakes, or to make mistakes, or to admit that you're wrong, or choose choosing willingness to be different, willingness to change things, willingness to be brave, willingness to follow your heart, willingness to break free, willingness to change the way you look at the world. We can choose so much if you think about it. Choosing what we put in our mouths, choosing what we eat. You know, if we want to raise our frequency, okay, let's go back a little bit. If we want to improve our life, if we want to bring our dreams into reality, remember that our improved life and our dreams in reality already exist in some timeline or some dimension. The reason we're not experiencing them is because we're not resonating with them. So if we want to bring them in, we need to raise our frequency to that. The fact that it's a dream, the fact that it's an improved lifestyle tells us that it's at a higher frequency. We can assume that it's at a higher frequency than we are. Otherwise, it wouldn't appear to us as better, would it? And a dream comes to us in the non-physical world, which is definitely at a higher frequency, right? So this is about making choices. So many little choices are going to help us. So if you do feel like there's a dream that you can't bring in, or an improvement that you can't create for some reason, this is saying choose wisely in all these different directions. So one of these will be, I would say, choosing your diet, because that your diet is one of the quickest and easiest ways to raise your frequency. Cut out the alcohol, the sugar, the carbs, the whatever isn't resonating with you. And I'm not being pro this or pro that. I'm not going to get into any nutritional arguments. What I will do, what I always do, is recommend that you sway test everything you eat, everything you drink, and everything that you put onto your body as far as lotions and potions and toiletries and things like that. I will put a link in the description to my video on how to sway test. So there's no nutritional advice here coming from me. What I'm advising is that you learn to sway test, because when you learn to sway test, you are listening to your body. So you don't need to listen to anybody outside of you, but we do need to listen to our bodies at this time, because we know that our bodies know the score. We know that our bodies keep score of what's going on. You know, you eat too much, you might put on weight. You know, you exercise too much, your joints might hurt. I mean, you know, you don't exercise enough, you're going to feel lethargic. I mean, you know, it's not rocket science, is it? I think that was actually a chapter in my last book, Diet and Exercise. It's not rocket science. So it is one of the ways that we can improve our health, of course, is eating only foods and drinks that our body resonate with, using the sway test. Exercise, of course, too much exercise can put undue pressure on the body, you know, because we know that we want to rest, you know, we want to integrate, we want to surrender, because we've got Virgo moving into Pisces with the nodes. Check that out with Amy in the video I just mentioned. And so, I mean, Virgo is very much work. So I would imagine the Virgo energy is working hard at your exercise and your diet routine, whereas Pisces would be more going with the flow with all of that, listening to your body. And I think when we understand that we are energy beings, and it's not so much, well, it is about raising our frequency, but it's more about coming into resonance with the you that you came here to be. And that can happen through awareness, through the breath, through surrender. It doesn't have to be hardcore exercise. It has to be conscious awareness of your energy. I think that's what I want to say with this. But other choices that I think are really important, just how you spend your time. Where are you leaking energy? Most people are spending too much time scrolling and watching distractions on the internet, rather than, there's loads of good things on the internet, don't get me wrong. When people moan about people on mobile phones, I always think, hang on a minute, I use mine as a sat nav even when I'm walking somewhere, and I'm often looking at it. You could be buying something for a loved one. I'm actually not anti having your phone with you, because I like listening to music that is at 432 hertz. It's a very healing frequency. And of course, there are so many podcasts and videos like this that we could be listening to. So high frequency stuff does come through the phone. So don't get me wrong, I'm not an anti-phone person. I think it's about using the technology that we have, because we have Pluto in Aquarius. So things are going to get technological. So using them to our advantage, for our benefit, to help raise our frequency and not distract us, where we are wasting time. Now, when I say waste time, a lot of people think, oh, if you don't want to waste time, you've got to be doing. No, no, no. I've just said, haven't I? Conscious surrender, awareness, tuning into the body, sitting in silence, or with 432 hertz. It's not always about doing, but there's a difference between sitting in silence, listening to what's coming up, feeling what's coming up, tuning into what's coming up from within you, whether it be thoughts, could be positive thoughts, inspiration on how to move forward, or it could be some emotions. That's happening a lot at the moment, of course. So emotions might come up and you might think, oh, where have they come from? But you've been dumbing them down with all this scrolling and distractions and what have you. So just sitting for 2 minutes or longer if you can, doing nothing, just to see what comes up. It is powerful. It's really powerful. I mean, it's meditation, right? Just calming down. Choices to be in nature, choices to be barefoot on the grass. You don't have to understand the science behind why being barefoot on the grass is so healthy. There is lots of science behind that, but you won't get that in my videos. But I'm very aware that there's science behind it. If you're one of these that wants to have scientific evidence of these things, I personally just know that I feel better when I've got barefoot on the ground. On the grass, but on the ground anywhere. It could be in the mud, it can be, anywhere. On the sand now as it's summer, if you're near a beach. So just little choices like that. And I want to say, choosing to do something different, maybe choosing, this is what I said about willingness to try new things, because you don't have to understand the bigger or smaller picture behind barefoot on the grass, to just try it. To just try it. I mean, willingness on the map of consciousness is at 310, and the pivotal point between contraction and expansion is at 200. So just being willing to, I want to say now, love yourself. I am willing to love myself. If you're watching this video, you probably already do love yourself. Willing to try new things, willing to do something differently, willingness to adopt new habits. Just this willingness is going to put you into a state of expansion, whatever it may be. And just to do things differently and to try things that we're not really sure of. Willing to try new breathwork techniques. I'll put a link in as well to Awaken's little daily breathwork routine, because that's coming up for some reason. I'm sure it will help people. And you might have preconceived ideas about breathwork. You might have never done it. You might have heard other people talk about it and you haven't resonated with their experiences. But be willing to have your own experience. If you don't like it, then you don't have to continue. It's about willing to try things differently. I think that's what, choose wisely, and to choose new actions that are going to take you away from the frequency that you're in. Because if you want to improve your life, or if you want to attune with a dream, then obviously you have to change your own energy, because the outside is a reflection of the inside. Obviously, your reality is a holographic projection of you. So obviously something has to change on the inside. And it doesn't have to be arduous. It doesn't have to be big changes. It doesn't have to be, it just needs to be in a direction, something in the direction. That's what he's saying to me. Choose wisely. Choose how you spend your time wisely. Choose the people that you mix with wisely. Choose what you eat and drink wisely. Choose how you talk to your body wisely, because every cell of your body is a little universe. Well, we know that you are the whole universe in one human being. We know that from Rumi's quote, don't we? You're not just a drop in the ocean, you're the whole ocean in one drop. But also every cell in your body is a little universe, and it will respond to frequency. What frequency is the best one to put out there for every cell of your body? It's love, isn't it? It's love. It's self-love. It's you might be willing to love yourself. You might already have started your self-love journey. It is a journey. I always think the more of you that you step into, the more of you there is to love. But self-love gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So loving your body and every cell in it is a choice as well, isn't it? Talk kindly to your body. Talk kindly to everything and everyone, because your energy body, I mean, your body is listening to everything that you say. And when you use low frequency words, harsh words, sometimes you can feel like this, can't you? I feel like that when I hear people say, "Oh, that will never happen." I actually feel like this. It makes me feel like that, because they're affirming that for them, whatever it is will never happen. I find this probably more with the older generation when we talk about med beds, for example. I remember talking about med beds with somebody, and they were, "Oh, that will never happen. And that will never happen in my lifetime." And I just thought, well, you know, you're just affirming that, you're creating that. So med beds won't come in for you in your lifetime. I'm sure they're already here. I know I'm not going to, well, astral traveling and spaceships and things like that. But anyway, different topic. But my point being, I have that same cringe or contraction, I should say, when people say can't. When I hear people say can't, I can't afford it, or I can't do it, I can't sing, and I can't do this, and I can't do that. I mean, I was one of those people when it came to the singing. And then I thought, hang on a minute, why am I using the word can't? Because we know, don't we, from Henry Ford, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're going to be right. And so just hearing someone say, I can't. And sometimes, people have been told, especially by the medical profession, that something will never happen. I remember I was told when they said my thyroid gland was out of balance and it wasn't producing thyroxine or something, and they put me on levothyroxine. This was many years ago, and I remember them both saying, the doctor and the nurse both said, "You'll be on this for the rest of your life." And I just remember them saying that, and I felt a contraction then, and I wasn't even into energy healing at the time, but I felt a contraction. I felt something inside that told me that's not true. That doesn't have to be true. And it isn't true, because, as I've said many times before, one of the first things that I balanced with using the emotion code was my thyroid gland. And that's where the sway test, which I've already talked about, I sway tested, does my body need this extra, thyroxine? No, no, no. I kept getting no, no, no. And I can still measure now, is it balanced? Yeah. So when a lot of the medical profession will tell people there's no cure, a lot of people will say there's no cure. that also makes me go into a state of contraction. When you understand that we are energy beings and that the physical is created from the non-physical. So you can raise your emotional energy body. You can raise your mental energy body through shifting your emotions and shifting your thinking by choosing higher frequency emotions and choosing higher frequency thinking. That's what the emotion code and the Psych K that I do are all about. And you by shifting that, and also by meditating, which we've already talked about, and tuning into who you really are, your higher self, your highest self, your God self, whatever you want to call it, tuning in and listening and understanding that you have the love and power of God flowing through you. It's about believing that in order to be able to access that power and that love. I mean, you have to believe that to access that power and that love. So this is what I'm saying. It's choosing your thinking, because then when you have that level of consciousness flowing through you, creating the physical, then anything is possible. So I also want to say, choose wisely about who you choose to believe, what you choose to believe, because I think that's really important. And that's why I bring it back to the sway test all the time, so that you can listen to your own body, sit in silence as well, and listen to your own thoughts that are coming up. Because it's your higher self that you need to listen to, not me, not anybody else. Oh, this is interesting, because the next card is the Eight of Cups, and that's exactly what he's doing. These are the emotions, right? So we've got the Seven of Cups followed by the Eight of Cups. So this is a really good sign. Now I'm getting excited, you can tell, because I just love the energy that comes through with tarot, and I love when it all follows on and makes sense. So 7 to 8 is perfect, because it's showing you this progression. It's showing you that, yes, you do need to choose wisely about the things that I've talked about. And then when it comes to the 8, this is him on his own. Okay, we've got an eclipse here with the power of the sun and the moon, I want to say. So the power of the universe, everything is there for you. He's going into his cave because he's going to have some solitude, some meditation. And these are the emotions, of course, the cups. He's walking away from them. This is often referred to, I often refer to this as the trigger card. So he has felt triggered by something. He may feel triggered by my words. So he is going into his cave to reflect on something, some new way of thinking, reflect on the emotions that are coming up, and release some of these low frequency emotions. And realizing with this trigger, something's triggered him. And he's not thinking, oh, that person made me angry, that person made me frustrated. It doesn't work like that. We know that it's all within you, and that the anger, frustration, whatever it might be, anxiety, despair, whatever it might be, is in the cells of your body. What did I say already? The outside is a reflection, it's a holographic projection of the frequency that you are. So when things are ready to be acknowledged, you will have a reflection at the frequency of what it is that wants to be acknowledged. So if it's anger, and now we're having this cleanse in the Great Awakening. It's happening whether we know it or not. I call it free energy healing, because it's coming up astrologically. It's coming up for, whatever reason. Light is coming in, so the darkness comes up. So suddenly we will feel tearful or angry or jealous, and all these things that we just don't know where they've come from. And we're blaming the person on the outside that's showing us the mirror. We're blaming them, even though it's coming from the frequency within the cells of our body. So when you feel that emotion, sometimes it's not easy to look at the angry person or the jealous person or the frustrating person or whatever. It's not easy to look at them with unconditional love. But if you understand how the outside is a reflection, is a mirror to you, then you can look at them with love and gratitude, not react to what they said or done. But he hasn't reacted to the outside stimuli. He is going into his cave to feel the emotion. And I've talked about this before, but once you've resolved that emotion, the outside stimuli will either not trigger you anymore or won't be in your reality anymore because you don't have the frequency inside of you. And this is one of the reasons I have a love of the emotion code, because it's an easy and effective and efficient way to release those emotions. But of course, just sitting and feeling them and understanding that emotions want to move in a cycle, understanding that the emotion is just an energy vibrating at a certain frequency that feels really uncomfortable, right? The negative emotion. So love for yourself, because you want to put the love in, love for yourself, you just sit there and feel it, feel it, feel it, feel it. It can get quite intense sometimes. Allow it, honor it, be grateful for it. You're on your own. This is your 2 minutes of time to yourself. Let it go, let it go, let it go, and you will feel it passing out of your energy field. When it's no longer in your energy field, it can no longer create a mirror outside of you. This is how we improve our world. This is how we improve our life. This is how we eliminate, angry people or whatever, frustrating people. I'm not saying they don't still come up, because we do have layers to everything. And I don't want to put you off, but once you have cleared these emotions from the cells of your human's body, we also then, as light workers and as energy alchemists, which we came here to be, we can then release emotions from our gene line, from our ancestral lines, inherited ones. Of course, we've got past life emotions that can also come up. I've experienced that as well, and also then, of course, we've got collective. We've got the collective energies that come for us to process them, because we understand the bigger picture, because we are getting experienced at this process now, at this understanding triggers, at this alchemizing the low frequency emotions into love. I've just got to pick this one up because we've got the Lover's card. Because we can do that, then the universe will use us as a transmuting tool, and we can process emotions on behalf of the collective. And that's what we came here to do. I really experienced that during the floods of Valencia, when there was so much sadness and so much grief. In fact, I did a video. I didn't mean to do a video. I just happened to be doing a video that day, and I was still processing all this sadness and grief and crying all through the video. But I was processing it. And then what was so beautiful is because you're doing it from an expanded state of awareness and from a high level of self-love, then you are literally transmuting the sadness and grief into love. And that's when we then saw in Valencia, people, they couldn't access Valencia on the roads, but they were walking with buckets and brooms and Wellingtons and stuff, walking to the city to clean the streets and to help people and to take aid. And it was for months and months and months afterwards. People were donating. And so then what I saw was the love. It was making us, I'm just talking about it, it's giving me truth bumps, and that feeling of just love, when your energy field resonates, because you're talking about it, feeling it, resonates with that frequency of love. It's like a cotton wool blanket, isn't it, that just lifts you up and makes you feel all expanded and full of love, quite literally. But there's a good example, I mean, from my experience of it, to feel that processing of the sadness and grief, and actually feeling the transmutation of it into love, and then seeing in the physical world that love pouring out. It's just, this is how we change the world. This is how we create world peace, I want to say. The last card for the month is the Lovers card, Major Arcana. This is all about relationships as well. Understanding, we've just been talking about triggers, but understanding that our relationships, I mean, the whole purpose of our relationships is to give us loads of mirrors. And obviously, we're talking about people that are mirroring our anger and frustration and our jealousy and, all these negative emotions. But obviously, the more you love yourself and the more love you have in the cells of your body, you're going to have mirrors coming up for that. And more people will be showing love towards you, showing kindness and showing gratitude towards you, because you've shown kindness, not just to other people, kindness to you. You've shown gratitude, not just to other people, but gratitude to yourself for this journey. Okay. So, because whatever you show yourself and show other people will be then shown to you, of course. So there will be more loving people in your world, more people that you can trust. You start trusting yourself, then you're going to have more people that trust you and more people that you can trust. It's a frequency thing. Trust is a frequency, and the more you feel abundant, remember, the more abundant that you feel, whether it be abundance of joy, of love, of health, or financial, the more you feel it, the more you're going to see it in your reality. There is science behind all of that. Just that we don't, from my point of view, we don't need to know the science. We just need to understand that that's the case, put it into practice, and then you've got your own science, haven't you? Because you've got your own evidence. I do this. Love myself equals, that's my equation. Love myself equals better life for everyone. There you go. That's my science. Love yourself and love everything in your life and everything in your world. Love everybody unconditionally equals world peace. So this is beautiful. It's also about your relationship with yourself. It's about your relationship with your higher self, your highest self, your God self. We've already talked about that as well. And it's about that 2 minutes that I mentioned. That 2 minutes of just tuning in to who you are. And if negative emotions do come up, that's your inner child self. That's your inner child self just wanting to cry. That's your inner child self asking for validation. So if you sit for 2 minutes on your own, I don't know why I'm saying 2 minutes. So obviously it must be for some reason. So if you're sitting for 2 minutes on your own, no distractions, you've got the solitude, your eyes are closed, you're just feeling into what's coming up. Very often you might be processing negative emotions. It's just asking for validation. There's a younger person inside of you. It doesn't have to be a child. It's just a younger person inside of you asking for validation, asking for love, asking for security, asking to be heard, asking to be acknowledged, asking to be appreciated. So it could be your inner child asking for that. Also, you might sit there sometimes and just feel the love. Feel the love that you are. The lover's card. It's a love energy. Feel the love that you are. When there is nothing else there, no complaining, no distractions, no one telling you what to do, no one telling you how to be. Even in our most loving relationships, people have expectations of us because, they got to know us a certain way and they think we're going to stay that way. But of course, we're evolving all the time. So when you tap into that love in the solitude, the love that you are, that can also make you cry. It's beautiful. So there is this love, the relationships, that's what I was saying, relationships, so they can be showing you the mirror of love and support and caring, all our loved ones that do support us on our journey, that do help us in whichever ways they can, do listen to us, do love us, do give us that space to be who we really are. You're going to get more and more of those people in your life when you give yourself the love and space to be more of who you really are. Yes, I love ending on this card because I often say the answer is love. Love is the answer. Only love is real. I'm in pure consciousness. For me, it is love. If ever you've had these experiences, astral traveling or really deep meditations or after breath work, or whatever, when you can really tap into your highest frequency, it is love. It is just a frequency of love and or higher. So thinking of the map of consciousness, love is at 500. You've got joy at 540 and peace at 600. So, and sometimes it can be quite overwhelming that it makes you want to cry. I did a personal reading for myself the other day, and this card came up, and I often write notes um, about the cards, what messages are coming through for me when I read the cards. And when this one came up, the notes turned into automatic writing. I looked at the love, I felt the love, I was in my own zone, and then automatic writing. And it was so powerful, it was making me want to cry, but cry with love. Oh, we don't have to actually cry, we can just feel it. Um, some people just feel it, but it's that truth bumps, it's that resonance, it's that feeling, that emotional feeling. It is an emotional feeling, whether you physically cry or not. It's that emotional feeling of being what that's coming from the fact that you are resonating. You are focused on the love that you are and resonating at that frequency. So that's where we want to get to. That's where we want to be. The rays of the sun show spiritual guidance, and any guidance that comes through when you're tapped into that love that you are is definitely guidance to be heeded. So yeah, love yourself into a state of bliss and listen. Listen to what your soul wants you to know. What does your soul want you to know? Yeah, beautiful. And this sun also is reminding me, of course, that we are in Leo season. Um, the sun card is Leo, and that's also got a little child on it, showing, inner child work, or showing to be childlike and playful. Leo is about being childlike and playful. It's about not caring what other people think, having fun, being sociable. And the lion of Leo, of course, tells us to be bold and courageous. Um, Another Leo card is the strength card. And there's a connection. I'm seeing a connection between these cards because in the strength card, the girl in the picture is taming the lion through love and not through force. And so it's a reminder to, I don't know, discipline ourselves. I don't know whether discipline us is the right word. I think love is the right word, to love ourselves into healthier habits. To discipline ourselves sounds a bit strict, you see, but you can do it through love. I love myself. One of my first affirmations, I wrote about it in my first book, Heal Yourself to Happiness. The first chapter is all about affirmations, how to use them, how to get them to work for you. If you haven't already got a copy, the first book, Heal Yourself to Happiness, is free to download from my website at deborahjanesutton.com. There's a link in the description. So you can download that for free in PDF form. The paperback is available on Amazon. The links will all be in the description. But but the affirmations, that's what I was we're talking about, making choices, affirmations. I forgot why I was talking about affirmations now. Hang on a minute, I'll have to come back to that. I'm sorry. I don't think I've done that before. But I was talking about an affirmation, my first affirmation. It was a whole series of them. It was from Louise Hay. And she says, it was like, I love myself. Therefore, I eat only healthy foods and beverages. I love myself. Therefore, I live in a clean and tidy house. It wasn't exactly those words, but it was, every sentence started with, I love myself. So I work in a place where I'm respected and appreciated. And I remember when I first started repeating those affirmations, I didn't feel appreciated in the place that I worked. And that affirmation would get stuck in my throat every time. But by repeating them, you bring them into resonance. You bring yourself into resonance with the truth of those words. And I remember one day just repeating them as I was doing, and I had been doing for months. And then I was just suddenly like, oh my God, everything's true. Everything's true that I'm saying. And that's when I understood the power of affirmations. And how to get them to work for you. So yeah, check that out. But yeah, I love myself, therefore I choose healthy foods and beverages. So what I'm saying is that we can discipline ourselves through love and not through force, not through discipline even. I do it because I love myself. Make new choices because you love yourself. And don't react to the angry, frustrating trigger, because when you feel, if you react to it, what you're doing is compounding that frequency into the cells of your body more. Whereas going into your cave and feeling the anger and letting it leave your energy body, that's an act of self. So this is about loving yourself better. That's what I want to say. Love yourself better. It's like kiss yourself better, kiss something better, love yourself better. Yeah. Love yourself better. Love yourself better. Thank you for getting to the end of the video. Have a fantastic August, loving yourself better. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Love you all. Sending lots of love to you at this time.